All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are breaking down a tool that's built for the absolute front lines of modern politics. We're talking about IonCandidate and how it acts as a dedicated AI field operative for your campaign. But before we get into all the tech, I want to start with a really fundamental question. It's for anyone who's ever been in the trenches of a campaign. In a world that changes literally by the minute, what's the one thing, the only real currency you've got? That's it. Momentum. It is the absolute lifeblood of any political campaign. It's the difference between a message that catches fire and one that just fizzles out. And protecting that momentum, well, that's everything. Which brings us to the single biggest threat to that momentum, the momentum killer. In our 24/7 news cycle, there's this mission-critical gap in how campaigns communicate. And honestly, it can bring everything to a grinding halt. And the fallout from this gap is just brutal. When your team gets swamped by texts, emails, and web chats, the consequences hit you instantly. Leads go cold. That spark a supporter feels to donate just evaporates. Conversations are dropped, and your reputation takes a hit that, let's be real, you just can't buy your way out of. You lose the moment. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The modern political battlefield is won or lost in seconds. Being able to give an instant response is what turns a fleeting moment of someone's attention into a real opportunity, a donation, a volunteer, or even a vote. So how do you close that gap? How do you scale your communications without breaking the bank or your team? Well, this is where IonCandidate comes in. And it's not positioned as just another piece of software, but as a trained AI field operative built specifically for the chaos of a campaign. And look, this distinction is absolutely crucial for any campaign. This is not your average chatbot. Generic bots, they guess, they go off script, and for a political campaign, that's a nightmare scenario. IonCandidate, on the other hand, is built for structured execution. It follows your rules, it stays relentlessly on message, and maybe most importantly, it protects your candidate's voice. So how does it pull this off? It's powered by something called the aKillion intelligence layer. Now think of this less like a creative AI brain that thinks for itself, and more like a highly disciplined operative that just executes its mission. It's the engine that lets you scale thousands of conversations without scaling your risk, because it sticks to the playbook you give it. This is what prevents those AI hallucinations that campaign managers have nightmares about. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's open up the campaign playbook and see how this actually works with practical, strategic solutions. The whole system is broken down into these packages designed for the specific phases of any campaign. So here's the quick breakdown. You've got 3 core packages. There's Raise, which is all about fundraising and recruitment. There's Engage for voter education and gathering intel. And then there's Activate, which is your get out the vote machine. Each one is purpose-built for a mission-critical job. Let's take a closer look at Raz. Imagine this. A supporter texts your campaign right after a rally. They're fired up, they're ready to help. Instead of that text getting lost in an inbox, the AI agent is right there, instantly, guiding them to make a donation or sign up to volunteer. It capitalizes on that energy in the moment. But the strategy here is actually way deeper than just sending a link. Like this consultant says, it's a high-speed qualification engine. In real time, it's identifying your most passionate donors and volunteers, capturing that critical data right when their intent is highest, before that moment passes and the lead goes cold. Okay, next up is the Engage package, and this one is all about intelligence gathering. So think about a voter who texts in a question about your healthcare policy. Engage doesn't just provide the approved answer instantly, it also tags that voter as someone interested in healthcare. You're automatically building these powerful, self-segmenting audiences with every single conversation. And this is why that is such a game changer. This isn't just abstract polling data. This is real, voter-level conversational data. And as the source points out, this intel becomes the fuel for your entire ground game. It informs everything from your direct mail to your field ops with incredible precision. And finally, we've got the Activate package. This is your get-out-the-vote powerhouse. It is designed to solve all those critical last-mile problems that come up in an election. It handles those final, crucial questions, reminding voters when to vote and giving them their specific local precinct info in real time. Because, and any field director knows this deep in their bones, friction is the absolute enemy of turnout. A voter asking, "Where do I vote?" needs an immediate, perfect answer. This tool gets rid of that friction. It's designed to turn thousands of vague intentions to vote into thousands of confirmed ballots. That is how you win the nail-biter races. Okay, so this all sounds great, right? The natural next question is always, how hard is this to actually set up? Well, the process is designed to be a surgical setup, not some massive IT project. It allows for a seamless integration into what you're already doing with very little human overhead. It's a really straightforward three-step process. First, you just map out your workflows. Basically, you set the rules of engagement. Second, the system trains on your specific campaign data, so it learns your policies, the candidate's bio, everything. And third, you go live, and you've got that instant, real-time coverage. And here's the part that is a huge deal for any campaign: the speed. Most operations can be fully up and running in just 24 to 72 hours. And because you don't need to tie up any engineering resources, you can deploy this even in the middle of a crazy, high-intensity period without missing a beat. All right, now let's talk about the elephant in the war room. It's the question that, let's be honest, is on every campaign manager's mind when they hear about AI. Is this thing going to replace my people? The answer is an emphatic no. The entire philosophy here is to empower your team, not replace them. The system handles all the high-volume, repetitive drudge work, which frees up your staff to focus on high-value tasks like strategy and personal outreach. And for the really complex stuff, it uses human-in-the-loop logic, escalating the entire conversation with full context to a real person who can step in seamlessly. It's a force multiplier. So, let's bring this all home. What's the ultimate winning advantage we're talking about here? Well, it all boils down to one simple, undeniable principle in politics: speed wins elections. And this really says it all, doesn't it? When you're in the final stretch, in the chaos of those last few weeks, the campaign that can engage, respond, and act the fastest, that is the one that's going to come out on top. It's about seizing every single opportunity instantly. And that leaves us with one final big question for you to think about. It's not just about having the right message or the right candidate. It's about your operational readiness. In today's political environment, is your campaign truly built for speed?